Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow. And today's episode, I'm going to address sort of a concern, a question that someone has posed on. As you know, I'm going through the different animes and that kind of stuff that are appearing in, the My Anime list. And, I'm going through basically every single title that's sort of released according to the anime list listings. And so whether it's a TV series or an OVA or a movie, I'm sort of just going through each one, accounting, what that sort of anime has done during that time, as I remember doing it, and has how it influences. Obviously, there are animes that are very popular in different parts of the world, okay, and maybe not be so popular in North America. There's obviously animes that are like really popular in Japan, and of course just never translated over here. For example, like Sasaya-san or something, for example, like that, or Chibi Marco-chan or something like that. They just was really popular in Japan, but just the influence and the stories just never got out past that. Again, there's some obvious animes like, for example, let's say Saint Seiya, and the Three Musketeers, Sankoshi, for example, and things like that. They're really popular in, let's say, China or France or whatever, but maybe not so popular, in America. Okay, so there's those type of things, and so obviously there's there's concern that when I'm going through the anime lists, I'm skipping over a lot of titles, or I'm bypassing a lot of OAVS and that kind of stuff. Just because because I know what they are, and because they're kind of I should say one shotty, if you will. A lot of people don't know what they are, and they kind of got skipped over. And I assure you, this episode I'm just going to go through some of those, should I say, missing OAVAs or lost one-shot OAVAs. Just to tell you that, yes, I didn't just skip over them because I never watched them. No, actually, I do actually have them, and I did watch them, and I'm not going to, give you a homer pick, as it were, because I've seen a couple bunch of these, anime lists, and just because you just love, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and, you're not going to, you immediately stick it as number one in all your anime lists. And it's like, okay, that's just, no credibility in such a list when you do that, okay? So, this is the episode that'll back that up, okay? So, again, if you haven't already, go down below, click like, click subscribe, and then you get more episodes where we go over different topics, and of course more of my episodes of where I give you your suggestions for what the animes to watch in 1988, 99, and onwards, okay? Also, I do have a database of episodes down below, so again, if you like the episodes I'm talking about here, you can see some of the other things that I've talked about, and obviously see some of the previous years that I've done already, so 1986, 85, 84, 83. They're in the database, so you click those links and then they will show up, because YouTube never recommends anything of mine anyway, so that's why. Okay, so let's just begin and then give you an idea of what is out there. Okay, and just show that I do know and watch these animes, and I'll give you an indication. I'll do that just by just going through some of the laserdiscs I have in my collection. Okay, so without further delay, let's begin. Okay, so if we're into the first sort of the stack of laserdiscs here. Okay, I'm gonna pull this one out. Okay, this is the laserdisc for Yukahara Labyrinth. Okay, and immediately you can see that or Sparkling Phantom, as some people call it. And so you can immediately tell that you look at the different things, and you can see that this is very, very very familiar kind of artwork. Just the eyes and that kind of stuff in there, very, very, very unique. Okay, this particular this artwork is done by Narumi Kakanuchi. Sounds kind of familiar, right? Yes, she does Vampire Princess Miyu. Okay, so this is one of the first early OVAs that she did before before the very popularity of Miyu came out. Okay. So, that's one of the ones that, some people had, to check out. I remember I got a copy of it a long, long time ago. And, I never understood what it was about. So, but I knew I had it, so I got the lasers for it. So I got a nice, clean copy of it. We never did actually end up fan subbing it or anything like that. And so, but definitely, if you like me, her work, she also does, I think, Juliet is another one of the mangas that she does. So if you like that kind of artwork, you might want to check that OAV out. It's called Rikuha Rabbit, or they call it Sparkling Phantom. The next latest disc I have on the pile is this one right here. Okay. This is for an anime called Demon Hunter Yama. Okay. Now we did fan sub this one, and it was kind of, I like the story because it's like another one of these kind of variation of Yoko, Devil Hunter Yoko kind of idea, right, kind of thing, right. The artwork is done by Yuji Moriyama. Okay, he's pretty famous for things like he's not the key character designer, but he is one of the animation character designers for Maison Akaku and Kirimami. Okay, so the next one I'm going to pull out is this laser disc over here. Okay, this is for an anime called His Name is Gold. Okay, and the reason I pulled out this one is because right away you can just tell by this picture of this girl here, doesn't she look very, very familiar? Like she's in another anime already, and you kind of go, well, yeah, she kind of looks like, Quest from like Charged Counterattack. Well, yeah, that's because this one is drawn by Hiroyuki Kazami, which is the guy who does Zeta Gundam. Okay, very, very famous guy and character design. So again, if you like that sort of, obviously, the person who does Zeta Gundam, and like that kind of artwork, then this is one of the OVAs that he did. And his name is Gold. Okay. And again, just look at the similarity in the character design there. So definitely one of the more popular things. And again, I was following a lot of his work at that time because Zeta Gundam was one of the first animes I really got into. So obviously I just continued following to see if there's anything else that he might have done, and that's one of the examples of what he did. Okay, another one that he did is this one. Okay. This one is for an anime called Legacium. Okay, now you can just tell right from the very beginning, the girl right in the front here kind of resembles LP Pudu, right, from the Double Zeta. Well, again, same character designer. Kazami, he does all that kind of stuff. So again, another kind of another mech, girls and mech kind of armor type of thing. Kind of animation, which is definitely, if you like his kind of work. Again, check that out. Okay, so I said I was going to get into some mostly some one-shotters and that kind of stuff, but you can tell when I'm going to give you a homer pick, and I'm going to give you a couple of picks which are my personal favorites. Okay, just to indicate that I do also watch and give suggestions on ones I do like, and I'll tell you I like them, but I won't place them in really weird crazy places like number one just because I like them. Okay, I know where they are. Okay? I know where their placement should be. So one of when I started first getting lots of H mangas and that kind of stuff, just because I'm ordering them really randomly. Once I get the name of one of the publishers, and in this case it was Fujimi Comics, and I said, okay, I'll order everything from that list of other titles that are available, right? So I don't care what it is, I'll just order it in. If it's cool and great, that'd be good. That's really good. So one of the ones I got really interested in when I got that list of things was one called Stainless Night. Okay, so that's this anime over here. Okay. Now again, one of these sort of similarity things that really caught my eye right away is that little symbol on her forehead kind of reminds me of another classic anime that has that central thing. Yeah, sort of basically reminds me of Athena from Orgus. And so I thought maybe there's some weird sort of offshoot sort of thing that happens off that, but it's not. It's just something that was borrowed from the art style by this particular artist. But it's still fascinating me, still nevertheless. And so I really got into this because it's a maid story, robot story kind of put together. The original manga for this one is done by Kei Amagi. Okay. I forgot to put the little clips over these ones, so I'm gonna have to remember when I put these up. I have to fix YouTube. Okay, so this is the other cover for the part two. The artwork is originally done by Kei Amagi, and the character designer that actually worked on the actual anime is a person named. I had to look this up actually because it looked familiar, but I couldn't remember the name of it. Runoko Otanashi. Okay. He is the, he does a lot of character direction and that kind of stuff for a lot of animes. But one of the sort of things that I noticed that he does the character design for was Iria or Z-Ram, okay, the animation. So if he ends up doing that, kind of works out. So again, I kind of remember it's a very good art style. And again, I really got attracted to the manga. So it's one of those kind of great feelings where I was following the manga, and then finally the anime came out, and it's like, oh, right on. It's like, this is like one of my favorite mangas I liked. All of a sudden now it's an anime. It really felt good that they actually did that, and they did a pretty good job. I mean, I still like the mangas in many different ways, but it was still a pretty good job. Another one in that same likeness, of course, animes that I really got into was this next one here. Again, I ordered the manga, and I got really interested in the story, and I thought it was kind of really neat and that kind of stuff in there. And then I find out, oh hey, they made an anime, and so I got the animes in. And it's for this one right here called Parade. Okay, and again, this is another one of these ones, done by Pink Pineapple. It's kind of an interesting kind of story about an idol singer with the extra organ. Anyway, and so it's it's pretty cool, that kind of thing there. Okay, now the original manga is done by Satoshi Akifugi, right? And again, I liked his artwork, and because he does a lot of other little animes little mangas at that time, but this one I really liked the story and followed to him. Okay, and again, I looked at this when I was watching the anime and that kind of stuff, and I said, okay, this it had a similarity. I couldn't pick it out at that time. So I had to look it up again. It's a Toshimitsu, okay, Kobayashi, all right, and again, lots of character direction and that kind of stuff, directing that kind of stuff. But one of the names that comes right out to mind, and I see that he does the work on or the character design for, is El Hazard. So this guy, if you're into that kind of stuff, like that kind of artwork, yeah, he also does El Hazard. Okay. The next OAVA sort of one-shotter that sort of came out is this one. Okay. Now we also did the fan sub for this one as well. This anime is called Good Morning Althea. Okay. Now again, this is another of these sort of really popular sort of one-shot sort of short piece animes about space travel and whatnot. And it was really fairly popular and fairly well traded actually. The artwork looks really familiar, but isn't. But it is. You kind of look at that, and when I looked it up again, just to refresh my memory what it was, because I was about to say one person, but it's not. It's his clone. Okay. So as I said, the character design for this one is Michitaka Kikuchi. Okay. Now he, of course, is known as the evil twin to Kiyazumiya. All right. So. Just about everything that Kiyazumiya does, i.e. Borgman, Silent Mobius, and whatnot, it almost seems that Michitaka Kikuchi has also a similar drawing or does artwork and that kind of stuff for the exact same series. So a lot of people, the running joke is they're both the same person because no one's ever seen those two people in the same room at the same time. So they figure, okay, yeah, they're both the same person. But yes, so this one is actually is a credit to Michitaka Kikuchi. Whether or not the rumor is that's Kiyazumiya, that's sort of one of the inside jokes that's going on in the industry. Okay, but yeah, again, it's a kind of a cool show. If you want to check that out, you can see what I mean when you can see the resemblances to certain shows like that in this particular anime. Okay, so the next one is one that again another one of those ones I picked up or not. It's called this one right here. Okay, it's called Stardust Paradise. Okay, and it's not an idol singer type of show, that kind of thing like that. Okay, now the reason why I like this one is because again I like a lot of the soft artwork and that kind of stuff on this. I'll just kind of show you the back cover right here. So I use that really nice soft kind of wax kind of color type of thing for that that kind of show, right? Anyway, so the art the manga and that kind of stuff is done by this Fumio Sasaki. Okay, Fumio Sasaki. This character designer didn't do very much at this particular time, but a little later on, continues to make the character design for Code Geass, Excel Saga, and Ayoroyoshi. Okay, so this is where this is the beginnings of that particular artist doing this particular show. So Stardust Paradise. Now I've made mention of this one several times. Okay, this is an anime called Carol. Okay, in many different ways. Carol. Okay, a lot of people always say, well, Carol is just the animated version of TM Network. Okay, because TM Network is 3 guys, right? Which includes TK, right? And of course, this is sort of the girl that goes into Alice in Wonderland and meets the 3 guys in TM Network, and that basically is what the whole story about is it's just basically a whole music video to promote TM Network. Anyway, but the neat part about this one is that the artwork of the manga series is done by Yun Koga, okay, and she's known for what later will be known for Gundam 00. At this time, she was really famous for Earthian and her version of Genji. Okay, now, although she did the original manga for Genji, okay, when they really actually animated this particular version of Genji, okay, I remember I made a mention there is another historical version of Genji, which is not this one. Okay, this is the one that they did afterwards. Okay, so this is one called Genji. But this one, if you can already recognize the artwork, all right, okay. Actually, maybe we'll show you the artwork on the back of this one here, okay. At least it's number 2 here. Look at the back of the artwork on this one. Yeah, this looks more like the kind of the Yun Koga kind of look, kind of thing there, okay. But you look at the front there, okay. Very, very similar. You will realize it's Kiyozumiya, right? Very, very silent Mobius, compiler-looking, like kind of characters, right? Almost even very, very Borgman-ish kind of thing, right? So again, this is drawn by one manga artist like Yun Koga, but of course animated by another one. And this is a nice, interesting, really story about that. There's a bunch of weird stories about Genji, which maybe one day I'll tell you once to get the pictures and that kind of stuff for it. So, so another really interesting series that again probably no one's ever sort of paid attention to. Okay. Okay. So the next one is almost a staple for a lot of the anime fans during this time. It's this one right here. Okay. This is the Macross Flashback 2012. Okay. Now again, I always tell people that a lot of people at this time were really, really interested in Macross / Robotech or whatever, and so they're interested in what the Macross movie, and they all want to find out what else happens. Of course, so again, this one's sort of a nice little laser that has it's more like a music video, but a lot of people were interested in finding and getting the new animation for Macross. So this is what in a lot of collectors sort of a lot of collectors like that kind of stuff, right? Okay. Now here's another really nice lost favorite. Okay, is this one right here. Okay, this is 5-Star Stories. Now the story of the 5-Star Stories is again it's character designers done by let's see, Nobuteru Yuki, okay, which is I think that's the your Record of Lost Wars guy, right? But the original story and concept was by Mamoru Nagano, okay, and a lot of this stuff was like heavily promoted by New Type magazine, because a lot of the early New Type magazines of this type just pushed the comic inside. They had inserts inside. They had posters and that stuff inside, and they just really pushed this one magazine, this one movie. Unfortunately, they never made anything else for it. Okay, and again, for all these people who love those old classic robot shows, even the things like Heavy Metal Elgime and Aura Battle or Dunbine, that kind of stuff. There was even sort of this rumor that Nagamo had this plan to actually put all the stuff into the like 5-Star Stories is supposed to be like a 5-star system kind of thing, right? Where all these things are sort of interconnected somehow, and this is all supposed to, it was going to be some really grand story that never transpired, never really got pulled out. You know, they made a lot of mangas for this. You know, this is a really still a great movie, but unfortunately they've got it blocked everywhere, and it's really even hard to find this one. But I remember we did some fan sub this, and it was a really favorite. You know, it was a good movie for the. You know, like, you know, our showcases and that kind of stuff when we showed movies on the large screen. Very, very popular. So 5-star stories. If you ever have a chance to check that one out, definitely worth that one. Okay. I also have this one here. Okay, this is the anime called Rants. Okay, or you know, basically this is a kind of a RPG, you know, game that you play on the computer. Okay. Based on the same name, Rants. It's made by Alisoft Software, and basically, yeah, it's a, you know, the you know, powerful warrior going into the dungeon and you know, trying to save the girls getting you know, getting molested by tentacles and all this other neat stuff going on here, and perverted ghosts and stuff like that. You know, okay, you get the picture. It's, you know, but it's one of those type of things. And yes, again, really pretty popular for that sort of era because they had that. You know, I guess it's just sort of, you know, just that time period just before Dragon Knight, for example, was another one of these kind of, you know, those type of go into the dungeon and find scantily clad women. Now, of course, where else would you find, you know, that kind of stuff? You know, in dungeons, of course. So again, I'm going to get into some familiar titles that you guys are probably already familiar with and sort of know, but I just want to point out that I did know about them, and I did, you know, go get them. So I got this one here. This is the Yotodan LD, okay? And so, yeah, you know, this is a nice good story on this one. You know, again, I really like, you know, at this time was lacking lots of those type of, you know, ninja samurai type shows. I mean, until we get to like Rurouni Kenshin or that kind of stuff, this was really, you know, really lacking in this kind of stuff. So, you know, these are the kind of animes that we were, you know, we're really wanting to kind of see at this time. Now, one of my favorite ones I like, which is the original OAVA for Burnup. Okay, I got this LD, and again, this is I just like, you know, chicks with guns and just blowing up stuff. You know, a little more different than like the Burnup Excess that they made afterwards, but you know, definitely still really pretty good. I got this lasers here. Here's the lasers for Lika-chan. Okay, so you know, Lika-chan, of course, is like the I guess you could say the equivalent of the Barbie doll, right? So they actually have a girl's doll called Lika. And so this is the sort of the story of as if Lika became magically kind of, you know, alive, and then, you know, this is the story of her story. What's nice about this one is the character design is done by Kimi Takada. Okay, so Creamy Mommy, Orange Road, etc. Okay, and you can see, you know, nice, you know, sort of things like that. So again, so this came out as a single shot OAVA before they decided to, you know, then later on go make fancy Lala and you know, again, and then, you know, super idol girl, you know, Lika, whatever afterwards, you know. But this is, yeah, the one shot. Nice story in this one. Again, you know, if you get, you know, obviously if you're not a fan of you know, Kimi Taka's work, you know, you want to try things like, you know, Urban Square and Twilight Q and that kind of stuff, you know, don't forget to check this one out, Lika. And again, the last one I always like to always point out in terms of, you know, kind of one-shotty sort of like, you know, like a sort of separate series, OAVAs and that kind of stuff, that I've, you know, definitely I've watched and really enjoyed, and but I always like to mention this one, and I've shown it to you multiple times, but I want to show it to you because just in case anyone hasn't seen it. But of course, you've got this one right here. This is the animation for Galaxy from Yuna. Okay, so this is again based off of a video game, which was basically popular around the, you know, PC Engine and that kind of stuff and whatnot, about the girl, and again the girls in Exit and kind of stuff. Okay, so I always like pulling this one out because this is another sort of demonstration about this particular LD. So I always like about lasers because they always come with lots of things. So it opens up and whatnot. Okay, but the different thing about this particular laserdisc over most of the laserdiscs, I'll just sort of show it off first of all. Yeah, so let's just take the one for Lika-chan here. And shape. So everyone knows that when you open up a laser disc, okay, it's basically like a record disc or not a record, and you can record media on both sides. It's just like literally like a big giant CD almost, right? Okay, and you can put it on either side, and it contains different minutes. So this is the lasers for Lika. Okay, now I got the one for Yuna here. Okay. And the first thing you'll notice when I pull up the disc for Yuna, okay, is, okay, doesn't look that much different than what the major difference is that on one side, it's just looks like a regular disc, but if you flip it over to their side, it's pressed in pink, okay? And not only can you see it's pressed in pink, and it's really kind of hard to see, but I'll try to kind of hold it with the reflection, but you can see they've etched patterns into this disc, okay? So on this particular disc, they've etched stars and moons and little crescents and that kind of stuff. As I kind of turn the disc and see if I can turn it to a right angle here. Yeah, right about here. Now I can just kind of show it to the light so that you can kind of see it here. Maybe you might not be able to see it there. It's hard to really see. Yeah. Maybe about that, it's really hard to see there. Oh, there you go. There you go. So if I hold it like this, you can see that they've also etched a picture of Yuna right onto the disc there. Okay. Like that. There you go. So you can see that there's amongst the stars, there's a picture of Yuna staying right there. Okay. So this is unique for these lasers for Yuna, okay. And again, so if you are one of these retro lasers collectors and or just wants to collect lasers and that kind of stuff, definitely you got to have one of these into your collection, because this is a really to my knowledge, this is like literally the only disc I've ever run across that has this sort of different sort of picture design on the actual laser disc. Now Yuna has a couple of OAVS for this series, like 4 of them I think. And their discs are done in different ways for that. So again, if you are a collector and that kind of stuff, and before too many people know about it, you might want to just try to jump on these ones whenever you can, because I've seen some laser discs go right through the roof, and you kind of find out why. So this is probably one of the ones that if you're gonna get out, make sure you get one of these ones. All right. So this is only just a small part of my collection. I don't want to get too long-winded here and make that kind of a huge episode, because I can see already I'm getting up to the 30-minute mark already. So I don't want to make it too much longer than this. So I hope you found some good suggestions of some different animes that you might want to just fun. Just check it out. Again, I'm not saying that any of these are groundbreakingly important and that you need to see, but again, these are some of the titles that I had in my collection that I did I did pick up because I did want to watch it, or I did want to get a better copy of what I had. And so when I hit across these titles in my anime list, and I don't give them a must watch designation, well, that hey, I know where these belong. These are animes that they came out at a time where there's just so much other good stuff going on, right? Because this is really early in the birth of a lot of the OAVS and movies and that kind of stuff, and the big huge push towards this kind of anime. There's a lot of good stuff that's out there, and it's quite easily possible that these things were just bulldozed over and kind of forgotten about. And by the time people knew that something like this came out, it's already that's last year. I don't want to watch it anymore. There's new animes coming out already, so I'll watch those instead. And they just got totally forgotten. So again, if you find something that kind of sort of interests you, maybe some artwork that sort of interests you, sure, take a moment and have a listen and check to see if you can find it, or have a look at them. There, that might be your hidden gem and your unique surprise. for this year. Okay. So until next time, see you again.